What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today in this video we're gonna do the complex numbers in an Argand diagram. This is just an intro in fact on how to represent the complex numbers in an Argand diagram. So before I start though, I just like to say thank you very much guys for watching, subscribing to the channel, commenting, and not forgetting those who like and share the videos. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel and don't forget to hit the bell notification so that whenever I upload a new video you can be able to see it as soon as possible. So guys, if you want to watch other videos that I've made already, you can go to the playlist and check the videos that interest you. Alright guys, so the complex numbers, remember we already made videos on complex number in a rectangular form, which has real number plus or minus imaginary number. So this is the rectangular form. So in order for you to able to draw or to represent the complex numbers in an Argand diagram, you must be able to understand what is a rectangular form or how does a rectangular form look like. So I've already made videos on rectangular forms. You can go to the description and watch those videos based on a rectangular form. Alright guys, so you know that when you draw a diagram you need to have the x and the y axis. So let me draw our x and y axis here so that I can explain exactly how the Argand diagram came about. So we know that this is going to be our x axis and this side is going to be positive and the other side is going to be negative. And then this one here is our y-axis. This side is positive and underneath here is a negative. So this is our origin. So when it comes to complex numbers, or when we want to represent the complex numbers in the Argand diagram, the y-axis is actually the imaginary numbers, which is for complex number. This here is actually our y. There we go. And then as for x-axis, it's real numbers, which is gonna be this one here. So this one here, it's actually the x-axis, which is the real numbers. So when you draw your Argand diagram, for example, let's say you have this complex number that I'm gonna write here on the first quadrant. We have complex numbers, and then the real number of this complex number is positive, and the imaginary number of this complex numbers is positive as well. So for the fact that the real number is positive and the imaginary number is also positive, it means this is going to happen on the first quadrant, because let's look at the real number on the x-axis. It's positive only on this side, so this is going to be on our right, and then the imaginary number is positive on the upper part of the Cartesian plane. So as you can see, this is going to happen here on this quadrant. So for example, let's say our real number, let's call it r1, right? And then our imaginary numbers, let's call it i1, right? So the coordinate of this point is r1 and i1, right? So when you draw the Argand diagram, you start from the origin to the point there. So from the origin to the point, then from there you can draw a line that is parallel to y, or the imaginary axis. So when it's like this become our right angle triangle here. So there are other values that we need to consider. For example, from the x-axis or the real numbers to this line here, we call this angle here the argument, and then the line from the origin to the point, we call this line here modulus. So let me just write it here. This is modulus. We usually know this as radius, by the way, but the correct word is modulus. And this angle here, we usually know it as theta or angle or acute angle, but the angle, it's actually argument. So I'm just gonna write it here so that we can able to see. So the angle here is argument. Alright, so this is how you actually represent the complex number in a rectangular form in the Argand diagram. Now, how about when we have the complex number whereby our real number is negative and our imaginary number is positive? Now, let's look at that there. I'm going to use a different color this time around. So, when you look at this, the real number is going to be this side, because this side of a real number is negative. So let's say this is negative r2, and then let's say we have positive i2, right? So when you find the coordinate here, let's say this is the coordinate from the origin to the point. This is how our Argand diagram for this one here is gonna look like. Even though this doesn't really look like a right angle triangle, but this is how it's gonna look like, guys, on this quadrant. So the Argand diagram for a complex number that is a negative real number and a positive imaginary number, it happens on the second quadrant. So our argument is gonna be here, and our modulus is gonna be our radius here. So this point here is gonna be r2, and then in fact negative r2, and then i2. I hope you can able to see. Now let's try the third quadrant. Use a different color. Let's say we have a complex number here that has negative real number and negative imaginary number. So when you have a complex number in a rectangular form that is a negative real number and negative imaginary number, we can draw it here. Let's say now this is r3, and then this is gonna affect negative r3, and then this is gonna be negative i3. Let's say this is negative there. As you can see, the point here, or the coordinate, is gonna be somewhere here, right? So from the origin you draw or you connect the point, right? So this here, guys, as you can see, it's what? It's gonna be our Argand diagram. You guys see? I hope you can see. So here is gonna be our argument, and this is gonna be our modulus. Remember, the modulus is basically the radius, and then the argument is actually the angle. So when we have a negative real number and a negative imaginary number, our Argand diagram is gonna be on the third quadrant. Now let's go on the last one, which is the fourth quadrant. Here on this quadrant, let's say our r is gonna be r4, which is gonna be here, and then let's say our I here is gonna be negative I4. Now as you can see, when you have a complex number that has a positive real number but a negative imaginary number, the Argand diagram is gonna be on the fourth quadrant. So let's say our point is here. There we go. Now if our point is here, from the origin going to the point, it's gonna be like that, and then from the r4 to the point, this is how it's supposed to look like. As you can see, this now looks like our right angle triangle. So like I said, this is gonna be our argument, and that is gonna be our modulus. Again, our modulus is just a radius, and then our argument is just the angle. So guys, you must able to see the complex number in a rectangular form where exactly the Argand diagram belongs. So I hope this can help you understand, guys, how to locate or how to represent the complex number in a Argand diagram. So this was just an intro. We're gonna continue and do more videos. In fact, the next video I'm gonna show the representative of complex numbers in an Argand diagram for different complex numbers. You should just subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification, so whenever I upload the video, you can able to see the video as soon as possible. Guys, I hope this helped you to understand. If it did help you to understand, don't forget to like the video, share the video, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. Till next time, cheers.